All right. We can keep talking and let everybody kind of join here. The ones that do join us live, most people don't, but we will. We'll keep. Most people watch us after the fact, which I would too, probably. So.
Well, I told my mom and dad, so hopefully they'll be on here.
They'll be on. Gotcha.
Maybe they'll comment. We'll have some good comments today.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe we can get some scoop about Jennifer when she was young or something. What do we not know? Mom and dad.
Oh no, no, don't do that.
Yeah. I could post some pictures of when you were a kid, some baby pictures or something in the chat.
Yeah, please don't provoke. Mom would totally do that.
Yeah, your mom would too. So yeah.
Keith, you look different without your hat on. Did you dress up for us?
Should I put it on?
Yeah, no. I just have never. Most people know of you, the guy with the hat.
Yeah, I know. I've been just back and forth lately. But what happens is, like, I want to wear the hat, but then some days I will have a meeting in the afternoon that it's not appropriate to wear a hat. And then if I put a hat on during this, then my hair looks like hat hair the rest of the day. So I can't just, and I don't want to take another shower or anything. So I'm like, okay, I got to do the show without the hat. But I definitely lose some of my moxie without it, I think. I'm not as cool and I'm not as quick-witted. I've got to have the hat. It's like Jim Carrey with the mask, it's a different person.
Yep.
I'm not in my persona.
Yeah, you look different. That storm was wild last night, though. Woo.
It was.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we have like a little tent out back for when it storms that we've been taking our puppy out so that we don't have to stand in the rain when we take the puppy out and it all collapsed and everything. So not good there.
Yeah. And then stayed up late because of the storm. And then I didn't want to get up this morning and actually overslept. And we had a retirement. I don't know if you went, Jennifer, a retirement reception for one of the general services employees at the Morton Museum this morning. Mm-hmm. And I drove by at 9:00 and they were all leaving because I was 30 minutes late. So, and then I drove down Main Street and the new fire truck was in front of the fire station. Nice. And Chief Selberg and Chief Witt were out front. And I said, it looks great. He said, yeah, we're trying to make sure it fits in the firehouse. I'm like, I said, I'm not going to look. So I guess it was measured to fit, but then they just have to test it to make sure that all the exhaust and everything lines up. So I couldn't look because just in case, something happened.
Yeah.
$1.3 million hitting a building. I'm like, So
we don't want that on the news.
No, but it looks nice. The new gray colors looks really nice. It kind of matches the new ambulances. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's going to be at the, did you say it was at the square location?
I believe the plan is for it to be at the square. Yeah. But it's not in service yet. They were just, they still have to stock it and all of that. So I'm sure we'll have I don't know, Jennifer, you may know, we'll have a toast or they take the champagne bottle and.
I know. I always suggest that. I'm like, let's break out some champagne for these new vehicles. And,
I think for good luck, I think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But maybe they do that without us and we just don't know.
I don't know. We'll do something. I know Jessica, the new fire education person, she brought out something that is a tradition that she wants to get started. She wanted to meet with me about that. So we'll come up with something cool.
Yeah. She's really going to town. Mm-hmm. I like their little, the little music to the CPR. Staying Alive and all that, favorite songs. Ooh.
Yeah.
So she's doing a good job.
She is.
Well, guys, I'll get us started. For anyone joining us new, this is Maine and Mulberry's Public Policy, where we talk about all things Collierville, Tennessee, which is a town just outside of Memphis, Tennessee. About 50,000 people, 50,000 plus, a town that is growing in economic development services, but trying to hold on to this sense of community that it's had for 150 plus years. And we are missing John Duncan, Town Economic Development Director, is usually with us, but he has a important Economic Development Director meeting. So he put us on the back burner and threw us to the curb here so that he could go do some other stuff. But I understand that happens sometimes. And in filling in is Jennifer Casey, who are you still, I haven't spoken with you in a while. Is the title still PIO or are you Town Administrator now?
No, I'm PIO.
Okay, so public information officer for the town of Collierville, and Maureen Fraser, who is with us every week, vice mayor of
Good
Collierville.
morning.
And so, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have Jennifer with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while since you've joined. Why don't we start with you? Give us an idea what's been happening in the world of public information for Collierville. I know that I know there's some things that you've been putting out, but it has to be an interesting town for you. I mentioned new town administrator coming in. That's got to be an interesting time as well. How's everything going?
It's going really well. Molly is, I think we struck gold with her because she has so much knowledge and she is just such an easy person to get along with. She's very personable and has great ideas and is fired up, ready to go, ready to support so many things. She's just so great to work with. I know I'm like the PR person, but this is honest. I really can't say enough good things about her. She's just been wonderful. I'm so thankful that we found her.
Yeah.
She has caught on. She has caught on really quickly. It's amazing with the knowledge base and the background that she has. So I keep asking her. You okay? You happy? Because I don't want her to leave.
Yeah. So did she say, just out of curiosity, did she say Collierville appropriately at first, or did you guys have to give her like the lessons on how we enunciate Collierville?
I think she said it. She said it correctly from the beginning, and she knows it's the town. It's not the city.
The town. That was my second question. We got to get the town.
As that just puts hairs up on my head when
people
say the city.
Maureen's pet peeves. You have to say Collierville right, and you have to call it a town. Those are the laws of Collierville via Maureen Fraser.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, she did her research for sure. And one of the things she also knew of was our social media and some of the things that my department had started. So that won me over immediately.
Oh yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad that she's coming in. I've heard good things as well. Haven't had a chance to meet her yet. Would love to have her on the show at some point, but I've heard that it's going well, and I'm glad because I know that that James was still helping a little bit for transition. Is he still helping, or is he?
Yes. Jennifer, I don't know if you've seen him around town hall. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's working on some special projects right now, having to do with small cells and towers for cell phones and projects that are the bigger picture projects through the planning department that we haven't been able to get to. So I haven't seen him. Someone told me that he has a full beard, but I haven't seen him. So
yeah, I can.
Nice.
I can tell you that he does have a beard and he looks very relaxed and rested and seems to be very happy.
Good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I wish him the best for sure. So, well, Jennifer, we talk a lot when John is on about different things that are coming to town and questions that are coming up that we want to get answered. And one of the things I saw you email about was Chick-fil-A. That's a question that we get a lot. What can you tell us what's going on with the potential move or addition or what's happening there? And are they going to start serving beef?
I can't speak on behalf of Chick-fil-A for that. I don't think they are. That would completely change their whole marketing plan, right?
Yes.
I was just going to pull up to make sure I had some dates right. So The planning division wanted to get this out to the public because it is such a hot topic, and they wanted to kind of get this out early that they're looking for input about this situation and gave some direction on how people can provide that. But before I get started with that, I just want to say that they're going before the Board of Zoning Appeals only for a parking lot variance request. So what they're wanting to do is add additional parking spaces to the area that they're looking at, which is Houston Levee and Wolf River. And right now it's zoned for so many, so they're asking for a request to make that a little bit bigger. That's all this is at this point. It's not going before the mayor and alderman. It's not going before the planning commission. This is very early in the process. So the planning division knows that it is a hot topic, and they encourage people to send in their thoughts about it and make sure that it reaches them. So they provided, and it's all on our website, but they provided some different ways that people can do that by emailing some of their concerns in. And if they email them all by March 8th, they can be on the part of the staff packet that the Board of Zoning appeals commissioners can get. So that way they can all see them as well. So our planning staff and our commissioners can see residents' concerns. And, they just wanted to provide a way that folks can get their voice out there because it is such a hot issue.
Okay, so it's not Chick-fil-A that's asking for feedback. It's the town. One of the commissions of the town is asking for feedback from the public to just kind of get a read on how the public views this location, a Chick-fil-A coming to this location.
Yeah, and I think that's just because, we know people have a lot of opinions about it and want to voice their concerns. So we're encouraging you to do that in this avenue. And this specifically isn't Chick-fil-A at this point looking at this. They're looking at the location, but this is who they've hired to do their design work for them. So
Okay.
It's, like I said, it's very early in the process, and nothing's planned. They don't have a planned, what's the term I'm looking for, Maureen? A project plan or
an
site plan.
official application for a site plan. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So just trying to get a read on it. And I know, everybody is, there's differing opinions, but a lot of people, just with that being a heavy residential area, are expressing that they don't want Chick-fil-A to come there, right? Or anything really that would bring that amount of traffic there. Are you seeing any other results come in? Are people using the form and filling it out, or is it, kind of falling flat?
They've made it pretty easy, and they've really just provided an email address. It's planning@colliervilletn.gov. And that goes to our planning staff. And then, like I said, they're putting all this in the packet by March 8th, and they're going to hand it over to the members of the Board of Zoning Appeals for them to look at that. And so I don't know what the volume has been so far. I monitor what people are talking about online quite a bit, and have received a few emails myself that I forwarded on to planning. But there's mixed feelings. It seems like the no's are always the loudest, right? So we're seeing a lot of that. But there are people that are in support of it too. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. I mean, that's, everybody, I think, kind of knows my position on growth, that if it's zoned appropriately and it's someone's land, then you ought to be able to do what you want to with it. And the people that, including myself, wherever I move, it's our responsibility to do diligence to know what's zoned around us before we buy a house, so that we have a good idea of what's going to come there. Because I'm kind of don't like holding it down. Now, whether I would personally like a Chick-fil-A in my backyard or not, I don't know, because it will bring traffic. And so I understand people wanting to voice that, but at the same time, I think you have to look at it from a standpoint that's not all personal. That is, hey, we're shutting down a developer here in in an area where they have rights, and I think that's something to keep in mind. Is what I would encourage everybody. So it's good, I think, to probe public like that, and so that you can help to address those type of things. I would hate to see that a decision to be made by a planning commission or any commission, because some people in a localized area are the loud no's, and so whenever it's good to probe it, but you got to hold that feedback, I think, with some level of measure of understanding. This is only a certain percentage of the population, and there's bigger things at play. So, Maureen, what do you think about that?
Yeah, what I would like to express is that we haven't voted on anything yet. I went to a nail salon in the area on Saturday, and there was a lady there that was just adamant that the city of Germantown had approved the Chick-fil-A across the street. And I'm like, I go to this location because it's kind of on the outskirts, and I usually don't see anybody I know, and I can have Maureen quiet time. And I'm like, I'm trying to bite my tongue, and I'm like, and so finally, they were all talking at the salon, and so finally I said, look, I said, nothing has been approved across the street. Oh no, Germantown approved it. I said, well, that's Collierville. So it's a little confusing. The mailing address is Germantown, but it is Collierville. Sometimes I refer to it with a good friend of mine, Jan, as we call it Germanville, because she lives on the west side of Houston Levee. But there's a lot of misinformation out, and that's why it's important to follow the town and the website and Jennifer and all of her wonderful staff. But the Board of Zoning Appeals is a separate legal board that's appointed by the mayor. And so they're looking at the parking. So that is, their opinion will stand. We don't have a say on what they as a board of aldermen on how they make a decision. So that's a separate entity. And, you know, Chick-fil-A is a victim of their own success. I mean, you go down Poplar Avenue, and whether it's Collierville or East Memphis or down even into closer to the town or the city of Memphis, it's always backed up. And a lot of times it's on the Poplar Avenue. They're just so successful. My understanding is this location where they are currently, the kitchen just is so small it can't keep up with cooking all the chicken for the people in the line. So there was one of the owners of the property up on Germantown Parkway. They closed for a year, almost a year, and rebuilt. And so now they don't get traffic on Germantown Road. They've added additional queuing for the cars. So they're not on Germantown Road to get in the line that you go around. I don't know how many times to get into Chick-fil-A. So they're just so successful, and they're looking to expand, and they're looking for the right location. And at this point, that's one location they've talked about, but please know nothing has been voted on and nothing has been decided.
Yeah, so there's nothing. Yeah, and that's good. We want to provide factual information here, right? So it's in a preliminary state. The group that's been hired to do some of the preliminary work by Chick-fil-A is looking to expand the parking spaces. Whether they get that or not, I would assume they could still decide whether to go forward or whether not to. Even if they don't get the additional parking, they could still try to push forward for a vote and go through planning commission and all that type of stuff. And if they get the parking, they could say still, well, we decided to back out even though we got the parking. So there's nothing either way that is forcing that to push, but it's good that they're thinking ahead of it. It's just interesting to me that there's kind of you're looking at it and saying, okay, if a Chick-fil-A comes here, there's going to be an enormous amount of people that are going to be driving through there, and we need to expand the parking lot. However, everybody in that area doesn't want a Chick-fil-A. All right, so who's going to go there then? If the issue is that everybody's going to go there and that it's going to be flooded with people that go there, then clearly people want it there, right? So it's interesting when these things happen to me, how these things play out a little bit. Maureen, from a real estate standpoint, if a Chick-fil-A goes there, what's the effect going to be on property values in that area?
I can't imagine that it would affect property values, because if they are approved, they're going to have screening. They're going to have all the setbacks. I mean, it's going to have to look beautiful. The emails that I'm receiving, and several have been in favor that live in that area. I think the biggest concern that I'm hearing is the fact that there's Houston High School, Houston Middle School, St. George's, and Briarcrest all in that same area. And the kids, the students, they all love Chick-fil-A. And
Sure.
what the traffic will be like. And people have said that in the morning when everyone's trying to get to school, there's a traffic jam. And in the evening or the afternoon, you just know when you go through a school zone, it's going to take you longer. So I think that's part of the concern, is the amount of, and maybe it would be fine if the schools weren't in that area, but the concern seems to be the school traffic and the students. People may try to walk across Houston Levee to go get their chicken. And so there is concern, but from a real estate perspective, it is zone commercial, as you mentioned. Something at some point will go there. And the question will be, is that a safe, location and the traffic wise for the Chick-fil-A? Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So thanks for the scoop, both of you guys, on Chick-fil-A. Sure. And if you have concerns, Jennifer had given the email address there to go and express your concerns, or express that you want it to happen either way. So you can submit feedback starting early in the process, talking to the public. I think that's the way to do it, right? So what else is happening, Jennifer, before we go to Maureen for a BMA update? What's happening I know that they sent several emails and you're doing updates and that type of stuff. What are some key things that you might want to talk about?
Well, as much as I don't want to talk about this anymore, I feel like I probably need to, and that's the utility bill issue that we've had that's really bubbled up a lot this week.
Gotcha.
Do you know about this one, Keith?
I know a little bit, but as Maureen calls it, I'm in West Collierville or East Collierville.
East Collierville.
East Collierville. Yeah, I get my directions mixed up. But yeah, so I don't mind. I'm different. But so tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So what happened was we had an employee who wasn't doing his job. He wasn't inputting meter readings accurately. And he did this for a period of time. We're not sure of that yet. We're still trying to investigate a lot of this because we had so many resident calls. That's what our first priority is, to get back to all these residents that are concerned with these utility bills that they're seeing. So we're going to probably find out a lot more in the next few days as we continue to look further into the issue. So back to what I was saying, he was inputting either zero usage, or he would copy what was used the month before. And when someone puts in zero usage, they get the base amount, which is like $8, $8, something like that for water, and probably something similar for sewer. I don't know the exact number. So your bill might be normally $70 for your full utility bill, which is water, sewer, sanitation, stormwater fee. And the base bill would be $50. So it's a little bit less. So people were paying utility bills that were a little bit less than normal. And we didn't hear about it until the system started to self-correct. And that happened when we had meter readers actually going out and getting the true readings. And people started seeing that their meter or their bill was significantly higher. And this is because, let's say, he was inputting zero readings for the past 2 months. So he's been doing it since January. And then all of a sudden your bill is now covering January, February. And so you're getting this bill and you're like, holy smokes, this is double. But it looks double, but it's not, because it's actually an accurate reading. And that's been tough to try to explain to people, right? So that's where we're at right now. It's hard to even say how many houses were affected, again, because we're still trying to investigate the full scope of what happened here. But I will say, once we figured, we realized what the problem was. We realized it wasn't our software, it wasn't faulty equipment, that it was a person. That action was taken really quickly, and he was let go immediately for doing this. That's
crazy what one bad actor can do, right? Can wreak havoc, especially in a key position like that. That's unfortunate. So, but it sounds like it's all leveling out, and nobody's really going to pay more than they're supposed to, right? I mean, that's the net of it. You may end up having to catch up and pay because something wasn't put in, but he wasn't putting in the overages that you have found. So nobody's really paying more than they were supposed to. Is that right?
No, not from what we've seen.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was a shock when people are getting there, and they would put screenshots of their bill on social media. And I guess it was Tuesday, Jennifer, when I saw something, and I messaged Jennifer and I said, we need to probably figure out what's going on with this. And because, initially you think when your bill is that high, I have a leak, I have a water leak somewhere. Well, the one post that I saw was a friend of mine, Pam Evans, and she's like, well, my neighbors has the same problem in her bill. And so, it might be the Almadale Farms area where that's maybe the route he worked. I have no idea, but we can't have all these people that have a leak at the exact same time. So obviously there was a problem. And then I guess when Jennifer got back to the office, she had a voice message from someone that had a problem. So I don't know if that's when it started unfolding, but that's when I was made aware of that there was an issue.
What's going on? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sounds like a mess, but at least it's selling out. And so is there a preferred place if someone has questions about their bill, or they want to find out what happened, or if they were part of it, that they can reach out to?
Yeah, we've got that information on the website too. And unfortunately, our customer service representatives with utilities have been so overwhelmed trying to get back to everyone. We've got different people from finance, public services, everyone's kind of jumping in to try to get back to all these residents. But we have the email address online, which is utilities@colliervilletn.gov, and then the phone number 457-2240. But also, one of the things that I like to recommend people do is to look at the eSuite online billing that we have, and you're able to see your consumption analysis there. So that way you can see if there really was a true spike or a leak, or something significant like that. Because it's hard to really know where he did this, because as Maureen said, a neighborhood might have been affected, but he might have done correct readings for a few houses and then decided to take a break or a nap. I don't know what he was doing. And then, a street right next to you doesn't have the right readings, but your neighbor, on the other side of the block does. So it's a bit of a mess.
That's sporadic. Yeah, that's strange. I don't know that's tough, but hopefully it'll all level out, and you guys send emails there. The town's going to get back to you as soon as they can. Everything, at the end of the day, everything's going to be made right. So it's just a matter of it all leveling out, right? So be patient there. I would say things happen. No matter how much effort you put out there, things are going to happen, especially if somebody wants to be malicious, right? So
Well,
what else, Jennifer?
Be lazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Jennifer's definitely not lazy, so that is not a comment is for her.
Thank you.
Gotcha. Yeah,
She's got to keep it. She keeps us all straight. That's for sure.
No, I hear you. What else? So tell me about that. What is it? When does Maureen get out of line and you've got to keep her straight? Is there a specific instinct here?
No, we don't talk like that.
No. The biggest challenge is always schedules, because Maureen also is not lazy, and she is a very busy lady. So.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So yeah, she comes in on 2 wheels for the show every Thursday, I think. So,
yeah.
Anything else hot before we go to Maureen that you want to talk about, Jennifer? Anything you want to mention to the public?
I'm sure that you saw our famous dog. That was a wild thing that happened. We were doing a Valentine's Day promotion to encourage people to adopt pets from the animal shelter, and we had planned this months ago. It's an easy thing to do to promote our pets that are available. And I came across, someone had posted on the animal shelter Facebook page a collage of this Australian Shepherd next to Paul Rudd and making different faces just like his face.
Right.
And I saw that and I thought, that's hilarious. And so I asked the person who made it, her name was Jennifer. I asked her if I could use it, and we just shared it and put it out there. And I did not realize where this would travel. And at this point, this story has been shared in 6 continents.
Wow.
Multiple languages. It was unlike anything that I've ever seen that we've put out there. But, it was one of those things where the timing was perfect, because Paul Rudd had a movie coming out that week. So he was kind of out promoting that anyway.
Yeah.
I think with it, being a dog, dogs and babies sell, we know that. And it was just kind of all these things kind of pieced together. And I was blown away by the coverage it got. And I did want to share. Do what?
It was picked up on the homepage of some national outlets, right? Did he ever respond? Did Paul ever respond or make any comments?
He didn't. And I wanted to tell you that a couple days after this happened, so it's Valentine's Day, so it's February 16th, I reached out to the Memphis Film Commission and said, I would like to try to reach him in some way. He's not on social media, so he's a little bit harder to get than some other celebrities. And I was like, do you happen to have any contact information for anyone on his team? And they said, yeah, we have his publicist information. Do you want to call her? And I thought, okay. So I cold called Hollywood on a Thursday night, and I felt like such an insane country bumpkin. I'm sure that's how I sounded, because I was excited and nervous, and I was like, we have this dog and it looks like Paul Rudd, and I'm explaining this whole thing. And finally, and this was his publicist assistant, and she goes, okay, so what exactly is your ask? And I was like, great question. I'm thinking I have no idea, and you just don't understand anything I just said. No, I said, look, all we want is just for him to see it. We don't want him to adopt the dog. We don't expect that. We're not,
right.
We just want him to see the story. If he wants to provide some sort of comment back, that would just, make our world. But we just wanted to reach him. And I thought we're so close, Yeah. So I never heard anything back. I did follow up with the publicist. I sent them a couple emails, like the link to the People magazine article and how the dog had gotten adopted, and kind of, said it's been a great story, So that's kind of where it went.
Yeah, maybe he'll do something eventually. But if he's private on social media, then that kind of makes sense. But it was a cool story. And it was fun to follow that. I saw all that going around, and everybody was sharing it and talking about it. And so, that's fun stuff when that happens, right?
You wonder how many people wanted to adopt the dog. I mean, I'm sure they had multiple applications for that dog just because of that article, I would guess.
Yeah, I think we got about 10 to 15 within the first few days. And then, he got adopted pretty quickly. I think it was like 6 days later, he got adopted. So,
Gotcha.
That's cool. Well, maybe someday he'll just show up in the town square, and say, I want to see where this
Right.
animal shelter is. Where's this Jennifer country
Yeah,
girl?
maybe he will. Maybe he'll pay a visit. Maybe he'll pay a visit to them, or send some like some dog food or something. Yeah.
well, it's better than a restraining order against me, which I was also
Yeah.
afraid of.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure he had fun with it. So, but so Maureen, let us
Yes.
know what is happening with BMA. What you got? Important votes coming, planning,
BMA,
taxes. What's happening?
There's a planning commission meeting tomorrow evening, which is Thursday. No, that's today. Today's Thursday. So
Yeah.
it's tonight. There's a planning commission meeting tonight. I don't think there's an extensive items. There's a discussion item on the planning commission, I believe, or maybe that's on the upcoming design review commission for some multi-story condominium townhomes that are being proposed at Mount Pleasant, that area there. So just kind of, again, applicant developer trying to get feedback early in the process before spending a ton of money to try to develop something that may or may not work. So that's going on. We are meeting every Thursday to work on our budget. Last week we had a little over 2 hours of capital projects. Every department head has needs and wants, and they were presenting those to us item by item. We talked about drainage. We talked about sidewalks. We talked about fire trucks, vehicles. Jennifer, what else did we talk about? I think you were in there with us. But every time there was like parks improvements, roofing items, air conditioning.
Air conditioning units.
Air conditioning units is a big expense, and all these expenses have gone up. Town hall, their air conditioning has been out like every summer for the last, I don't even know how many years it goes out. And we get these portables and keep it alive. When they were filming, I think it was it Christmas in Graceland, and they were filming at town hall, and they had to turn the air conditioning off at that time. And we have to keep our employees, in a good environment so they can function. But so just all these projects that have come up, and where will the money come from, and do we agree to fund it at this time, and do we wait? So we're looking at 5 years out. So we're looking at what we're putting in the budget for next year, and then do we move it out a little bit? And one of the conversation was having to do with the fire trucks, which they're like $1.3 million each. There's a 3-year delay. Once you order a fire truck, it takes 3 years to get a fire truck.
Wow.
So it's not like you can just go down to Landers Ford and buy a vehicle. You have to plan that far out. So looking at the historical data, how old our fire trucks are now, we're planning to open fire station number 6. We need vehicles for that. And so you pretty much have to order. They had 2 requests for the next 2 years for fire trucks so we have them in 3 years, which to me is just crazy. And I was talking to Mark King, one of our chiefs, and he said, yeah, it's taking that long. And everybody across the U.S. is doing the same thing for their communities to make sure, because they have to build them. They build them from scratch, depending on your specifications.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of planning, a lot of discussion. Our work session today, I believe we're going to have a meeting with our school superintendent. I think he's coming to us with an update on their needs, their studies that they've done, and how the BMA, we work together on that. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So was there anything unexpected that it request or anything from when all the department heads came in? Was there any big asks or anything that was not just routine? Hey, here's my recommendations for the year. Was anything surprising there?
We have talked about a library expansion for many, many years. And so it was put on the 5-year plan, and that year is getting closer and closer. And so one of the discussion was, someone had an idea, I guess, when they put the group together to do the study for a revenue, possibly a venue for revenue. Some people think the library is, no longer relevant, but that is totally not true. There are so many programs,
all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many programs. There's online. You can check out books online, books on tape. The programming is they have their own Facebook page, and it's just, they did a newsletter this week, and I just cannot believe all of the programs and what the library does offer. So that has been in the plan for many, many years. So we'll see what that is. I know the children's room is getting some renovation done now, the reading room. So that hopefully will be coming, and we'll just see if we can come up with the money and the plan and expand our library.
Okay. So that sounds interesting. So maybe that'll come about, but feeling like everything is pretty normal otherwise, and starting to normalize from, I know we've had ups and downs, with shutdowns and all that, but now we're kind of normalized. We get a good read on what we think that the income's going to be and what all the department heads need. I think it'd be a pretty typical year.
I believe so. There's a lot of wants. Our sales tax revenue in Collierville, people are still shopping. They're still spending money. So it's still a good place to be. We can't count on that every year for the budget because it may not be there next year. The only thing we can count on is the income that we get from our sales property taxes. So that's the main funding of our budget. But we have, because of our sales tax revenue, we have a little bit of extra money for one-time expenses. We have our own healthcare program with a consortium of other municipalities and school districts. So we have not heard yet from our HR director, but the discussion is that that's doing very well. Our retirement investment plan for our retirees is doing very well. So everything is good right now.
You don't hear the words investment doing very well right now very often.
Well, we had it fully funded before this all happened with the market. So hopefully it'll still be funded.
Gotcha.
So so it's a good time. It's a good time to be in Collierville for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it is. Values are high. I know from the real estate standpoint, I think, and you talk about that some. I haven't read your wonderful newsletter yet this week, but I always learn something from it. But I've seen some home values even start to increase a little bit around here. So, I think it is a good time for Collierville, and I hope it goes well with the schools. I know that one of the things when you were campaigning that you were talking about is more communications with the school and the school board, for the BMA to communicate more with the school board, and maybe even have some specific set type meetings, things like that for you guys to communicate. Has that been something that now that you are reelected, that you're going to continue to push for?
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely. And I think for all of us, we all need to be on the same page because everyone's looking out for the best interest of everyone in Collierville. And I know the schools, they have their own, public information. They have their elected body, and I'm not crossing the line with what they have to do. But, there's a survey that's been sent out by the schools. I guess they've hired someone to ask a bunch of questions. They're looking at their facility needs and the future, the elementary schools and middle schools. And there was a proposal survey out there. And, some of the schools, they're asking people's opinion. Would you support this school being a K-8 school? And right now, all of our elementary schools are K-5. And then we have 2 middle schools and the 1 high school. And then we have the virtual academy, which there's, a lot of us are dragons and tigers and all of that. But the virtual academy are the Chargers, which I think is the cutest thing. And Jennifer, you may have come up with that, but it's the Chargers, which is, your electrical outlet plugged in because they're virtual. And
that makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, so they're looking for feedback now early on for the future. Would you support that? So I've had a couple people email me and ask me, well, how will that affect, real estate? If I'm another agent called and said, if I've got somebody that they want to go to West Collierville Middle School, will this affect that? I said, look, I think that's a little too early to tell. I don't think any of this is going to take place within the next, I don't know. I'm not on the school board, but anytime in the next couple of years. I always tell my clients, if you want to go to a specific school, you need to buy a house as close to that school as you can possibly buy.
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah.
So we'll see. So that'll be interesting to hear what is going on with that survey and that feedback. And I took it right away. They ask if you're, a parent, a student, a community member, who are you? So everyone in Collierville can take this survey.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. Yeah, another request for information, which is good. Talking to the public, and so we'll see. Maybe next week you can give us, our week after next. I think we're going bi-weekly, so you could give us an update on how that went with them coming to talk today. Anything else you want to bring up? We got just a couple of minutes left, or I can wrap us up.
I don't know of anything else. I know Main Street's working on their summer concert series. It will be again June and July, every Thursday. So Main Street's working hard on that. They're doing a April 1st, I believe is the day. There's something that we just shared about the Easter Bunny coming to the town square for photos.
Gotcha.
I can't believe it's March already. What happened to February?
Crazy.
It is crazy. I know a lot of people are talking about spring break, going out of town. So
yeah, but also, we have programs at the Morton Museum, library. We have different things happening. If you are staying here, there's a lot going on for folks that week too.
A staycation for spring break.
Mm-hmm.
Spring vacation. Brace staycation. We can figure out a word for that. So yeah. All right. Well, guys,
there's definitely a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for joining, giving some information. I know everybody wants to hear about Chick-fil-A and their water bill, and so getting some scoop there. So I appreciate it, and Jennifer, appreciate you joining us on short notice. And John, if you're out there, we hope you're having good meetings and that Disney World is on the way. And we'll be back with you guys. I think we're going to every other week, so we'll be back not next Thursday, but the next, right, Maureen?
That is correct. Yes.
Great. All right. Thanks, guys. Feel free to make comments, questions in the chat, and we'll try to get back with any answers there. So appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, Jennifer. Bye.